Hi. In order to understand material, the best approach is to take any object and you can look at it in the perspective view and press space bar. Then make sure that you save it. It's always good to save object, give it a name. Say, I can give it glass testing. And once you save it, you can go to the layout, which is another software version where you can do animation and do material testing and everything else. So click on layout. Once you click on layout, it will come up. Probably it will come up with one view. You can press D and you can go to double view. It might come up like this as a single view. You press D to come up with double view. Make sure that you're on camera view on this, and this should be in perspective. Then go back to modeler with your left mouse button, click here and send object to layout. The object should be in layout and you are on the perspective view. You can press Y to rotate your object, but it is rotating in all three axes. So the best approach is to just go to the right axis, but you can see that it is not in the center. So you can go to view, and actually you can go to modify and you can go to move pivot. What you can do is you can look at this here and see from top that it is not at the center. So you have to move your pivot point right to the center of that object. Once you have done that, you can press spacebar, or you can just click and go. You don't have to do actually go to item, then go back here, press Y and make sure that your other axes are off. HPB means heading, pitch and bank. So you can see that it is on right now on heading. So you go left and right. If you do pitch, it goes front and back, and bank will go left and right. You can always go to bounding box and see that it will go left and right. So remember that heading, pitch and bank. So in most cases when you're animating, you should be in what you call in headings. So whatever you render will be seen here, and you can actually do real-time rendering. So you can move it around and you can see that it's moving around left and right. This is how you animate. This is your timeline. This is how you animate. So from first frame you go to the last frame and you rotate it, and then when you play it, it animates. So this is the way you'll be animating. Whatever you see at the background comes from something called backdrop, and you can see that it has a gradient background. You can do compositing, that means you can bring in any image. You can use black as a color, or you can choose any color you want as your background. So let me show you how you can bring in an image. Say I want to bring this as an image. So this is an image from Turkey done in artificial intelligence. So you can see that this is rotating with the background like that. Actually, you can render and see how it looks when you render it as a JPEG file. So you can see that you can save it as a JPEG file by going here and going to JPEG. All doing and done with the left mouse button. Save it. So how do you deal with what do you call? You need to get out of this. How do you deal with material? So material will come in from something called preset, and if you go in with your left mouse and click and hold, make sure that your surface editor is on. You click and hold this and it will give you, like if you want a glass, you double click on it and you can see that it is showing like a glass. Let me get off these. So you can see that you can go to preset and make sure your surface editor is on. So once you have switched it on, it should work. Like you can go to ceramics and you can like have different material quality. So you have ceramics, you have fabric. I don't know whether you'll find any difference. And you have different materials. So glass is one. So you have very simple glass. And then you can have different types of transparency. So it depends on the thickness of the glass. You can also go to like leather. You have double click on it, it will say load confirmation, and it should be very easy to do that with your left mouse button. Liquid is like water. I don't know how much it will show you. But so if you're doing an aquarium or something, you can use water. Luminous is like a flat neon type of color. Metal has a lot of colors, so you can add gold, brass, copper, silver. Then you have automotive, which is kind of you have different kind of car color. So these are presets when you're doing your final, when you have already modeled everything and you're ready to add material, then you go and add material to it. You have painted and plastic, basically, and this gives you the plastic look. Procedural is kind of textures, if you want to add any kind of textures to it. A lot of time procedural may be animate, it can have animation. For example, underwater, if you actually if you close this and it will actually animate the water. So you have to be on VPR, which is actually animating the water texture on it. So these are some of the presets, and there are many options there. Some of them are animated, like ripple will be animating. You can see that animating. Wood will not animate. So you can look at it. So procedural is another interesting thing that you can work with. Rubber is more or less, it will be, you can render it and see. You can kind of stop the animation. Skin color is basically giving you some skin color texture. Stone is interesting. Different types of stone textures. So once you get that going, there's also a render mode. We'll get into render mode. You can render it as one single frame or an image. The way to do that is you go to render, render frame. If you want to save it, it will render it. And then once it renders it, you abort it, and then you go to file, click on this with the left mouse button, and then go to JPEG, and then you save it wherever you want to save it. And I hope that helps. We can talk more about that in class. Thank you.